have coffee with me before I head on out to the clinic. Today, I want to talk to you about something so fundamental and so important in life that if we don't have this as a priority, then, we're really not optimizing our day. We're really not optimizing our life. What is that? So this is basically training our mind in something called self-referral circuits. Okay? So as a psychologist, obviously, I've gained a lot of information in my training and through my own personal passion and interest in the field. I've also looked outside classical modern psychology into integrative approaches, including and meditation sciences, which we call Vedic sciences for the meditation types that are coming out of India. So in my Vedic science masters, and yes, I did end up doing a master's in this, I learned about the in depth and in detail about the power of meditation and how it works on the mind. So outside of the generalized ideas that we're all becoming much more familiar with, which is that meditation is good for you, it helps train the mind, it helps calm down the mind. In my specialization, we went deeper into that and we understood the different layers of the mind. Okay, so in the last episode I explained how the mind has an incredible filter that your brain perceives about 11 million bytes of data in a second, but only 50 bytes of data come to conscious awareness. Yeah, you can definitely go back and watch that one. So those filters that filter out all this data and only allow a small percentage to come to the surface, those are part of the activity of the reticular activating system, which is part of our brain that's present in the middle of the brain, in the brain stem. And its function is to kind of moderate things and only allow a certain percentage of information or data to come to conscious awareness, where we can actually perceive it consciously and cognitively, play around with it and view it. So behind the reticular activating system is all the cognitive perceptions and habits and viewpoints and mindsets that play the role of filtering out information, right? So we will not perceive enough that, for example, that we are loved if we have very strong beliefs about us not being loved, right? So this is kind of not the topic I want to go into today, but the idea is that our belief systems, our viewpoints about the world and our mindset form different filters that filter out information that come to our conscious awareness, and even that we kind of agree with or buy into. Okay, leave that. Now, the point I want to make today, which is really powerful, and it's going to be part of my book, which I'm writing now. This is the idea that, if we spend all our time engaging in very different, self-development goals that we have, and we don't do this one thing, this could be a really problematic and a bit of a problematic thing and a bit of a waste of our time. What is that? So, obviously as a psychologist, my priority is to kind of always give to my clients, the best ways to invest their time. Because, with globalization, with the internet, we have so many things that we could be doing and very little time to do all these things. So, of course, in my clinical practice, one of the fundamental ethical kind of pillars that I have as a psychologist is to provide the best approaches I know are possible, the ones that are evidence-based and the ones that are known to be effective and so on and so forth. So for this reason, and I'm now doing this with you guys also, not just with my clients, for this reason I want to highlight this point. It's very important to understand that training your brain in self-referral consciousness is one of those top goals. I would place it under, the second goal when it comes to your self-development work, okay? And Basically, training yourself in self-referral consciousness is basically it's basically training your brain to override its prioritization of external stimulus, external information, and it prioritizing looping back to its own self. So this, I don't know why my quick player does this when I tape on this. I'm very new to this, as you can see, but I just wanted to get the ball rolling. So please tell me if you know how I can remove this fireworks. It gets excited with me. That's good. So basically, our brain is always very responsive to how we use it and the habits we kind of engage with frequently, for it to develop new pathways, right? So a lot of you will know this already as part of neuroscience and the findings on neuroscience. So training the mind in how it can default back on itself, which we call self-referral consciousness in Vedic sciences, and particularly Maharshi Vedic sciences, is basically having your meditation practice be not focused attention and not mindful attention, but transcendental consciousness. Okay? This is basically training your mind on letting go of surface level of thinking and being able to transcend the boundaries of conscious mind, okay, which is child's play. All those other practices that really keep you focused on what your mind is thinking and what's coming to your mind, and wrestling with thoughts, those are all good, not bad, but really where the strength is and where is the real core change that will happen is when you train your mind to transcend those levels, okay? Transcend conscious thought and go into your subconscious. And this cannot happen by force. This happens through transcendence, okay? Which is a skill in of itself. And this is a skill that mainly we train, and I train when I teach transcendental meditation, okay? Basically, through transcendental meditation, we train our mind in something called self-referral. And this is what I'm telling you about today. Self-referral is basically training your mind to not allow the predominance and the dominance of cognitive stimuli and the conscious mind to override your connection with your deepest levels of yourself. Okay? So the deepest layers of our self are not just accessed through the mind. These can include our intuition and many different layers, and our feelings and subtler, and the deepest level is the self. Now here, this is an important point. The self that I'm talking about is the self of the individual that is very fundamental. So this is basically yourself, your true self is the part of yourself that is fundamental. This is where your mind has come, you access this level when your mind has come to an absolute standstill, and the fluctuations of cognitive thinking and mental activity as well as physiological activity has really minimized to a great extent, that you are able to witness and cognize your pure self, your pure consciousness outside of those activities, okay? You are in self-referral consciousness when your mind is able to transcend all the activity of the surface of the ocean and go deep, deep, deep within the consciousness or the ocean of your own consciousness to experience your most fundamental level. And that is the self, the you, that is free from those activities. That is the purest, most silent level in your own inner self. Okay? That is self. That is the real self. That is the deepest self. And if we don't engage in this journey on a daily basis, we really miss out. If we prioritize other goals over this goal, we are battling with the 5 to 10 to 12% of the conscious mind, wrestling with that, spending our energy with that. and not kind of going beyond that. Yeah. To give you an example, this would be like you going into the store and, wanting to, let's say, get a big discount on something, or wanting to even collaborate with this store because you love the brand, and then just spending your time talking with the doorman or talking with, the sales agent, which may not have the information that you need, which may not be helpful, which are not the decision makers, right? And so they might be in a mood and kind of brush you off and not understand where you're coming from or value it. But if you talk to the business owner and you have a good idea, you will get the thing done like that. Okay, so this is maybe not the great example, but it's just an example of what I mean. Okay, training to your mind to connect with your deeper consciousness, the deepest level of your consciousness, should be and is the most important skill and needs to be prioritized in your goals if you are really to see a transformation in your life. Outside of going to like a huge event with a lot of parties and uplifting mood and music and excitement, which after you come home, gradually a lot of people come back to me and say, that it was a beautiful experience in the moment, but it was over the minute I got home. Or a few weeks into my routine and daily life on the ground, the mood has gone, right? The mood has dissipated, the positive emotions, and then I'm back to myself, and what do I do? Yeah, which in of itself can lead a lot of frustration for people that I see often, especially with those really dedicated into transforming their life. So here you go. I didn't have my coffee, it's not cold, but I did want to share this with you. And if you like it, please help spread the word by subscribing, liking, and all of that stuff, all of that jazz. Give me all of your feedback on how we can make this podcast reach more people so that we can all be much more self-referral and all be much more positive and enjoy our life. Okay? Have a beautiful day.